Good Saturday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over the potential for severe weather during the next few days, which does look to bring that potential for even significant severe weather. So we will need to be watching the next few days very closely, as the storm system could really bring a lot of severe weather. Plus, we'll also be going over the flash flood threats, which we do have that potential for even some significant flooding, especially tomorrow. So we will be going over that too as well. And then we also will be going over the tropics, which we do have the potential for Tropical Storm Patty to form, so we will also be keeping an eye on that very closely too as well. But if you are new here to the YouTube channel and you would like to stay tuned for more weather updates on Weather with Sim, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button. I do appreciate you guys liking my picture that I put on my channel, but like I said, that it did cost a lot to work as well. So if you do like that, also consider subscribing too as well, as like I said, that did take a lot to work and make. So make sure to do that if you haven't already. And, feel free to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below that you have. You guys can leave anything down below as long as it's respectful. And also don't forget to leave a like. But let's first go ahead and take a look at what we can expect for today. And as you guys can see, we do have a pretty big slight risk of severe weather heading from Midland, Texas, all the way up there into Oklahoma City, with that risk for a couple of isolated tornadoes across a lot of this green color. But the area that we're going to be watching the closest is this little brown color right there. I probably shouldn't circle it because it's really small, but that little brown color right there, right around the Midland area, is where we have a 5% risk for tornadoes for today, which indicates that a few tornadoes are possible. So make sure to be weather aware if you do live around the Midland area by having your tornado action plan in place just in case. We also do have a risk for both damaging winds and large hail, but we actually are a little bit more concerned about the hail threat, as we also do have a hatched risk, which is pretty much this black circle with the lines going through it that indicates a risk for 2-inch in diameter hail or greater, guys, and that's something to take very seriously, as we will really see that potential for some very large hail for today. So make sure to take that very seriously if you do live around the Midland area, as we could see both a couple of tornadoes and as well as some very large hail. And I definitely wouldn't even roll out some large hail up to 3 inches in diameter. So make sure you're protecting your cars, your vehicles, by putting them into the garage. And also, like I said, make sure to have your tornado action plan in place, just in case, as large hail and tornadoes are likely going to be an issue for today. Let's now go ahead and take a look at tomorrow now. And as you guys can see, we actually have a little bit bigger of a slight risk for severe weather as we head to tomorrow across parts there of northern Texas and as well as central Oklahoma. We do have that risk for a couple of tornadoes once again as we head to tomorrow, as we do have that 5% around, so we will need to be watching tomorrow very closely too as well for that potential of a couple of tornadoes. We also do have that risk for some damaging winds too as well across both Oklahoma and northern Texas, and we also do have that threat for large hail though. However, there is no significant large hail threat, which is good for right now, but I think they should issue one though, as conditions do look to be favorable for some very large hail tomorrow, especially if they're going to be very favorable for tornadoes. So we definitely will need to be watching tomorrow closely, and I definitely would expect a couple of things to change with the slight risk, because either it will upgrade to a slight, or not a slight risk, but an enhanced risk, because I definitely wouldn't rule that out, because this was a day 4 once, which once again usually means the potential for an enhanced risk. Or we could even see a hatch risk for either large hail and damaging winds. I definitely don't think this will upgrade to an enhanced risk, but I just wanted to point that out because it was day 4, and it definitely is going to be something to really keep an eye on very closely. Let's now go ahead and take a look at Monday now, and as you guys can see, we do have another slight risk of severe weather currently in effect for parts there of Missouri all the way down there towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we head into the work week, so we will need to be watching that area very closely as we will have that potential for more severe weather. They don't usually issue the hazards over 2 days out, and that's why we can't see them. But as we head into tomorrow though, we will definitely see the hazards, and so that's when we'll have a little bit better idea on what to expect as we head into Monday. But as of right now, that still does remain a little bit uncertain, as this could either maybe expand towards parts there of Nebraska, or this could even expand a little bit more towards the Mississippi River. But who knows exactly what to expect as we head into Monday, and like I said, we will have a bit better idea as we head into tomorrow. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook, and as you guys can see, for today we do have a slight risk for flash flooding heading from the panhandle of Texas all the way up there into southeast Kansas. So even if you're not going to be at risk for severe weather for today, you can still expect there to be a lot of rainfall around, as we will likely see some scattered flash flooding around. So make sure to be watching very closely for some flooded roadways, even if you do live across the Oklahoma City area, as we will have that potential for, like I said, some scattered flash floods. So once again, we will be keeping an eye on it very closely, and turn around and don't drown if you do encounter a flooded roadway tomorrow. Same as we head into tomorrow, as we do have a moderate risk for flash flooding heading from the northern area of Texas, including the Wichita Falls region, all the way up there into parts that are Joplin, Missouri. This is a pretty big moderate risk for flash flooding, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely going to be an area that could maybe experience as much as a half a foot of rainfall as we head into tomorrow. And what that will do is that will likely cause numerous flash floods, and this is pretty much just understanding what each risk for flash flooding means, because like I said, with the slight risk areas, you guys will be at risk for some scattered flash floods, but for a moderate risk though, numerous flash floods are likely, with significant flash floods possible. Many streams may flood, potentially affecting larger rivers. So that's definitely not good news as we head into tomorrow. So make sure you are taking this very seriously if you do live in that moderate risk, and I'll go ahead and show you guys that again so that way you guys know. But make sure to take this very seriously if you do live from Oklahoma City through Tulsa and into Joplin, Missouri. Let's now go ahead and take a look at Monday now for the excessive rainfall outlook, and as you guys can see, we still got an area to watch for scatter flash flooding heading from northern Illinois all the way back down towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we will need to be watching Monday very closely as we do head into next week. So we will need to be watching this area very closely, like I said, and same goes as we also head into Tuesday, and this still does remain a little bit uncertain as we head into Tuesday of next week, but I would not be surprised if they did issue a little bit of a slight risk for flash flooding somewhere in this area, which definitely isn't ruled out, but it may not be there. We'll have to see if they issue one or not, but there's a chance we may see one, so make sure to be watching if you do live from southern Indiana, southern Illinois, all the way back down there into parts there of eastern Texas. Make sure to be watching for some potential upgrades or changes with this risk for flash flooding. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the total rainfall now. This is anywhere from now all the way to November 12th, and I forgot to change the date right there from last time, but this is still about to November 10th, and as you guys can see, we do have a very big area that could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches widespread, but some isolated totals of up to 6 inches, 12 inches are definitely possible during the next 8 days. So make sure you guys are taking this very seriously if you do live across Oklahoma Oklahoma, northern Texas, Arkansas, and of course Missouri. So once again, we will need to be watching these areas very closely for even that potential of significant flooding as we head into tomorrow. As like I said, some areas, even the Tulsa area, could maybe experience as much as a half a foot of rainfall tomorrow. So once again, make sure you are taking this very seriously, as you know, we could really be seeing some significant flooding. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the tropics, which is something we haven't talked about for a little bit, but that's because they weren't really active. But now that they're starting to get really active, we already have a 80% chance of development across parts there of the red color. So we will need to be watching this area very closely for that potential of maybe a tropical storm to form. Like I said, we will have that potential for Tropical Storm Patty to form out here in the Caribbean Ocean, and as of right now, that low pressure system is right there, and we are expecting this to move into the Gulf of Mexico, so we will need to be watching that area very closely. Plus, we also got two other areas that could develop a little bit, but that still remains a little bit uncertain though, as these can, you know, very well die down, or they might encounter a little bit of warm waters, but we will definitely watch it closely, and like I said, it does remain uncertain with those two other ones. Let's now go ahead and take a look at what models are showing about Patty forming, and as you guys can see, Tropical Storm Patty could form by the time it starts to reach Cuba, because like I said, that low pressure system was right down there, and it will likely kind of do this, but as it continues to move towards the north, it will likely also start to move there into parts there of the Gulf of Mexico. However, though, it does start to die down quite a bit, because it just went from 975 millibars to now 1,000 millibars, which is, you know, much higher pressure compared to what the model was showing it down there near Cuba. And if you guys are wondering why it's dying down, that's because those waters are not favorable for very much development in the Gulf of Mexico. We're only talking 27 degrees Celsius, which is below 80 degrees Fahrenheit, guys, and I mean, I am really happy about this. I mean, hurricane season is almost over anyway, so we would like, you know, the tropics to calm down before, you know, we really start to see it. But, you know, Caribbean will still be favorable, like across this area and even back over here for some development. But like I said, the Gulf of Mexico isn't really favorable for development at all, so we probably don't really need to be keeping an eye on this system too closely, as like I said, it will be entering the Gulf of Mexico, but as it does, it will be encountering you know, cooler waters around, so we will keep an eye on this closely just in case it may, you know, strengthen just a little bit by the time it enters. But like I said, those waters are, you know, very, very too cool for there to really be any, you know, significant hurricane or any, you know, low-end hurricane. This would probably only be a tropical depression at the most after it encounters that. So you guys around, you know, you guys around the Gulf Coast, like Texas all the way through Florida, probably don't really need to be watching this very closely, but we will keep you guys updated with the latest, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. And now, before we end this video, once again, I just wanted to show you guys my, you know, my really cool picture just one more time if you haven't got to see it yet. I just wanted to show you guys that, you know, once again, I did dress up in my suit, and so in front of a 7-day forecast. So, you know, once again, I hope you guys really like this picture that I took, you know, at one of the news stations here in my town. And, you know, if you guys do, once again, make sure to subscribe, as once again, this did take a lot to make. So, you know, make sure to do that, you know, if you haven't already, and of course make sure to leave a like too as well. Those help out more than you know. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns. We'll get to those right after today's weather forecast, and I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and make sure to stay tuned, as we will keep you guys updated with the latest on this potential severe weather outbreak.